Hey guys, Dr. Kahu here and welcome back to my channel. Now today we're going to be doing a continuation what if, and that is what if Naruto Awoken the Rinnegan, part 5. Now as usual guys, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and the like goal for the next part guys is 100 likes, get 100 likes and I'll bring the next part out. And not only that guys, because you reached the like goal for the what if Goku, or what if King Kai taught Goku time skip, I'll bring that out today again as well, okay guys? So yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to it, and let's continue with our what if. And so, without further ado guys, let's get into this next part of the what if, and that is, what if Naruto Awoken the Rinnegan, part 5. Now let's begin. So as usual guys, we're going to do a quick recap on what happened previously, and then we're going to jump straight into the new part of this content, okay guys? So without further ado, let's begin. So where we previously left off, the fourth Great Ninja War was pretty minimal at best, like the 5 Great Ninja settlements pretty much came together and wiped them out, plus the Samurai Nation or whatever. Naruto himself and Sasuke managed to take down Kaguya without even, they didn't even really try, but however, because Kaguya connected with Naruto and saw Naruto's own form of interests, she made sure she laid in a backup plan. So she in turn put a karma cell on both Hinata and Kaden, okay? And so from that, she's got Naruto sealed the Gedo statue away, and that was a turning point for the future, okay? But what ended up going down is Sasuke and Naruto were super overpowered. Naruto is in constant 6-path sage mode forever, and Sasuke has a 6-path Rinnegan non-stop, okay? So these guys are way more powerful versions than what they were. And it can even Kakashi, he has both Obito's abilities, both Kamui, body and eyes, and he can use the abilities to his max potential, even as the 5th Hokage. But yeah, where technically actually last left off is where Naruto is talking to Toneri, well, projection of Toneri. And Toneri goes to Naruto, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. And so from there, let's begin. Naruto thinks to himself, Toneri Otsutsuki, on the moon, our ancestor, Kaguya. And then Naruto comes to realize, oh, he could be a descendant from Hamura. Naruto looks with himself and goes, oh, that makes sense. Kurama goes, of course it makes sense, Naruto. Naruto's like, huh? And he goes, Hamura went to the moon to guard the Gedo statue. What do you think? Naruto goes, yeah, you're absolutely right. And then it clicks on Naruto's mind again. I have the Gedo statue. And so what happens is Naruto goes to the 5th Hokage, being Kakashi, and explains and talks to him. Talks about a situation that's went down. He just met another Otsutsuki that are from the moon. And when he hears that, Kakashi is actually quite intrigued. He goes, is he friend or foe? Naruto goes, I have no idea right now. But for now I'm going to stay aware of situations. I'm unsure. He kind of laid a threat, but not a threat. And Kakashi goes, that's concerning. Naruto goes, yeah. And so what goes down is Kakashi relays the information upon a new entity known as Toneri Otsutsuki, and he may be a threat or not. So all the nations all are open to each other. Now they're way more closer than they are in canon. There's no feud between them, all of them are open. They all know about the Raikage's weapon. They all know about the Tsuchikage's cloning of, or the idea of what he's going to do. They're all aware of it, and so they work together in a common cause to make sure none of them go down darker routes like they're doing canon. And so this is going to play a massive vital role in the future, even against Kara in a bad way for them. But what goes down is all 5 nations agree that they need to stay aware, stay conscious upon situations. By this time Orochimaru has distributed his form of curse mark, but it's a better version for all other nations because it is an open trade. It helps out with everyone to utilize certain things, even, well, it's generally healing. So even if you have a medic that can't heal you, can heal certain wounds. Because they've come into a form of peace times, they do more like ninja games in a sense. Like the Chunin exam, because, well, of course they got to keep their skills sharpened. And so long story short, all of them are aware, and they all have slowly but surely start to make a backup plan, teams and everything like that. And so for Naruto, he's like, sweet. He goes off and Kakashi goes, Naruto, by the way, Naruto goes, yes, Kakashi sensei. And he goes, have you made plans upon what you're going to do? And Naruto goes, no, I'm still kind of at odds with it myself, to be honest. And he goes, why is that? He goes, because I don't think even if I was to pursue Hinata, I don't think she would agree about allowing me to pursue Karin as well. But at the same time, the same goes with her as well. And then Kakashi looks at Naruto and goes, well, that's something you need to figure out, Naruto. And he goes, that's very true. And he goes, Lord Hiyashi will not wait for you to make a decision. And Naruto looks down, he understands. And so, what goes down as Naruto leaves, he jumps off and he walks away. What ends up going down is Naruto notices something. He looks up, and when he looks up, he just saw it for a brief moment. A crack in the sky. Naruto's like, whoa, what the hell is that? And then he jumps away. What ends up going down is the probing of Toneri. Toneri is watching Naruto, watching his very moves. Hearing that Naruto is in conflict with Karin and Hinata makes it a much easier situation for Toneri to manipulate Hinata and to leave him with him. But not only that, Toneri won't know and unfortunately will be unwittingly aiding a bad situation. And this is going to pull ahead very soon, slowly but surely. What goes down as Naruto is conflicted walking down, he sees Karin. And Karin is happy to see Naruto, and they speak and talk about situations. And Naruto just explains that he's got a lot of things on his mind, especially when it comes to what's the upcoming threat. Karin understands, but she just tells Naruto she's here to talk to him. Naruto understands. He disappears. He leaves because Naruto, of course, as going down. He sees Hinata as well. When Naruto sees Hinata, Hinata sees Naruto. Her face goes red, but she instantly turns and runs away. Naruto's like, Hinata, but he can't say or do nothing. You know, he's unsure what he does. He's confused in the middle of everything. And so as Naruto's left to wallow, Hinata runs to a certain area away from most prying eyes, and as she's sitting there like looking sad and thinking confused about Naruto and the situation, Toneri appears in front of her and goes, you shouldn't be crying. And from there they speak, and Toneri states that why you love him is obviously he loves the other girl, and he slowly but surely implements and slowly but surely tries to take over her own form of psyche, planting situations. He's moving Naruto in a way where it could be to his benefit. He doesn't realize that it's actually going to play against him very soon. What goes down is as Toneri touches Hinata, the karma seal that is hidden on Hinata activates immediately, only briefly, around her body. And when it goes down, Toneri's like, what the? And he senses an Otsutsuki of child chakra within Hinata. And what happens about it disappears immediately. And him seeing that, it scares him. Right? But he knows he needs to do it now. So he sends his puppets. At the same time, he releases the moon. He knows he needs to provoke a situation because Naruto's not going to follow the breadcrumbs if he's going to be in this mindset. And so Toneri forces the situation by allowing the moon to fall using the Tenseigon and kidnapping Hanabi. Now, he sends thousands of puppets, not hundreds, not 10, 20, he sends about 1,000 puppets to attack the Hyuga base to grab Hanabi, only due to the fact that also Neji is alive. And they all have curse marks that are strong, that makes them. So the whole entire leaf is just boosted, the world's boosted. But however, they still get taken out because, well, 1,000 of them, you know. And they manage to kidnap Hanabi and take her to the moon. But this is when Toneri makes sure he progresses things faster. He has her eyes removed immediately and implanted to himself. And he begins the process of infusing all the chakra he can from the Tenseigon eye to amp him up. And so he makes that all happen within a day or two to push him and make him activate the Tenseigon as fast as possible. But he will find it doesn't work. He's running in fear and of two things now. He's unsure what to do. But what goes down is when Naruto hears everything, hears what happened with Hanabi, he goes to see Hinata, but Hinata's just even way worse. Her dad was almost beaten alive, and so was Neji. Her clan was kind of destroyed-ish. And she looks at Naruto. And when she looks at Naruto, Naruto sees like a kind of connection to Kaguya through his Rinnegan. Naruto can't shake it. As if something's amiss right in front of him. Naruto goes to speak, but Hinata says nothing. This is when Shikamaru comes and explains that Kakashi, or the 5th Hokage, needs to speak with him. Naruto agrees, looks at Hinata, and tells him, we'll get your sister back. Naruto leaves, goes to see the Hokage, and this is when Toneri's puppets arrive and kidnap Hinata immediately and take her away. Hinata allows herself to get kidnapped, in a sense, yeah. And as she gets kidnapped, Naruto's watching and he senses it briefly, He turns around, Naruto immediately takes off in the sky, starts to fly back to Hinata. So Shikamaru's like, Naruto! And boom, Naruto's already appears by the puppets. He grabs them, breaks them apart, destroys them, and catches Hinata. And this shocks Hinata because Naruto floated in the air and goes, "You alright, Hinata?" And it's like, "Please put me down, Naruto. Thank you." Naruto goes, "Alright." But first, Naruto opens a portal and appears into the Hokage's office near. And when he gets in there, he puts Hinata down in a safe area. Shikamaru looks up and sees Naruto disappear. He goes, "Duh, what a drag. I have to run back to the Hokage's office. Why couldn't you just open me a portal?" And what goes down is Naruto speaks to Kakashi, and Kakashi explains that the moon is moving. Not only that, the situation about Hanabi is bad. Hiyashi and Neji are okay, but we don't know how to track the whereabouts. And Naruto goes, "Well, we just need to find a way to get to the moon." And what happens is, but this is what Kaguya wants, the memory within the Karma Seal. Bear in mind that she's had the Karma Seal, both of them had the Karma Seal for ages. Hinata and Kaguya and Karin. So both of them are pretty much 80% Otsutsuki. And so, what ends up going down is, the plan still gets hatched, but this time it's Naruto, Hinata, Sakura, and Shikamaru. Hinata, Sakura, Shikamaru, yeah. And the reason why no one else goes is because it's more of a dangerous threat for them to be here. Itachi put his name up to go, but no, he's been pretty much told to stay. And so Kakashi goes, "Don't worry about us. We got the world here. You go and do what you need to." Naruto agrees, and so they leave. Naruto does a giant bird summoning, summons a bird. They all fly off, and they use Hinata's Byakugan to find the location to the tunnel to the moon. And once she finds it, they go through. And this is when they fall into the Genjutsu, but it's not Naruto that falls into the Genjutsu, it's Hinata. Everyone else is but Naruto and Sakura. And when Naruto sees Hinata floating and sees her Genjutsu mind, Naruto releases her, but feels a sad feeling he has, that the fact that he's actually made Hinata feel this way. And his own confusion ruins situations as well. So Naruto has a lot of thinking to do and a lot of things to change. And so when the giant cave guardian comes, Naruto just instantly does like an almighty push and crashes into the wall, destroying it immediately. And they go through, and when they appear on the moon, this is when Naruto can sense everything. He's like, "Whoa, what the?" A massive seal appears on the ground underneath him. Naruto's like, "What the hell?" And what happens is thousands of puppets shoot thousands of bombs at them. Chocolate bombs rushing at Naruto. Naruto's looking up. Naruto does another powerful almighty push on all of it. Naruto weaves hand signs and does massive phoenix flame fireball jutsu, but it's the biggest flamethrower that ignites the entire sky. And what goes down is all the rest of the team scatter while Naruto takes out the majority of the forces. And then as they come through, they run right through their old ruined cities, fighting all the puppets non-stop to the point where Hinata gets hurt. Naruto sees this and does an almighty pull to grab her, but this is when Toneri's magician comes and grabs her. Thousands of puppets land on Naruto, and he tells Hinata that she's coming with him. And as they're flying up, Naruto jumps right through them, smacks right through the astral projection and grabs Hinata. And what goes on, Naruto goes, "I got you." All the puppets rush at Naruto, and Naruto goes, "This ends now." Naruto opens his hands up one more time, but this time he powers up a huge Rinnegan. And Naruto opens his hand and he begins to do like a form of like a Jubaku Tensei Rinnegan, where he chucks it out and it pulls in everything in it into the Rinnegan. As he's spinning that, the Rinnegan is pulling in all the puppets and everything around. Naruto tells Shikamaru to hold them all in place, as Naruto pulls in the thousands of puppets into this Jubaku Tensei Rinnegan. And as Naruto lets go, all the puppets are gone. Naruto lands, he goes, "Are you right, Hinata?" And she smiles, she goes, "Yes, Naruto, I am." Naruto looks up and he sees Toneri. And he goes, "What the hell is this? Why did you attack us?" I thought, and he goes, "You thought wrong, Naruto. You're nothing but vermin down there. You stole a power that it shouldn't be yours. You have something that belongs to my clan." Naruto goes, "The Gedo statue, I know, this is why I'm here." And he goes, "Here or not?" And as he looks forward, he goes, "You don't know what you also have too. Harboring right next to you is another Otsutsuki. The woman that you presumably killed, our ancestor Kaguya." And Naruto's like, "What?" And he goes, "That seal on her." Naruto looks at that seal. And as he goes to go touch it with his hand, like fully rip it out, what happens is the Kamasu activates, does it like just pushes Naruto away briefly. And as it activates, what goes down is Hinata rushes up and grabs Toneri, but it's only a projection, destroys it. Now for a brief moment it's Kaguya taken over into Hinata's mind. Bear in mind, Hinata has never had no access to the Karma Cell, access to the Karma ability, because she never knew to practice with it or use it at all. But what goes down is Kaguya for a brief moment tried to attack and destroy the Toneri. What went down is right as being activated, she disappeared, and she fell down. Naruto caught her, and he was quite worried, and so they retreat down to a basement area until, unbeknownst to them, they unintentionally run into the Otsutsuki clan members that were killed. And this is when Naruto sees Hamura, and they have an interaction. Hagoromo's chakra with Naruto, his interaction with Hamura, and this is when they discuss things until something happens within Hinata again. When Naruto is discussing things with Hamura, the chakra of Hagoromo projects as a form of a person or a mist, just like he does in the 4th Great Ninja War, talking to Hamura, and what Toneri said. And this is when they look at Hinata. Hinata looks at both at Naruto, and then nothing goes down until her Byakugan starts to change colour briefly. And then glowing light activates with the Karma Cell activating over her face. Kaguya's horns slightly grow, because bear in mind Hinata's had this Karma Cell for years, okay? Not a couple of months, years. So it's spread through her body without her even using it. And so when she unintentionally activates it, this is when Kaguya sees Hamura and Hagoromo for the first time since they sealed her. For a brief moment, and she goes, "Hagoromo, Hamura, are you come to betray me again?" Hagoromo goes, "No, mother, that time has passed. You're holding on to an era that's long gone." And she explains, "No, you don't understand. There's others like me, more powerful. I already did things to protect my world, my children, my home that I have taken upon myself." Hagoromo's like looking at Kaguya. None of them can retain their standings right now. Kaguya explains, "You need to stop Toneri." Then she said it to Naruto, and Naruto's just kind of confused, Kaguya's helping out. She explains, "Toneri is not the threat." And Naruto says, "Who's the threat?" She explains, "Momoshiki Otsutsuki, Kunshiki Otsutsuki, the scout Udashiki Otsutsuki." And she looks down, and Naruto goes, "What's the matter?" He goes, "There's one other. I came with him. He was going to sacrifice me to the Ten Tails. That's what was meant to happen." But no, just looking at Hagoromo Hamura, this is the first time they're hearing so much in their lives about Kaguya's life prior to anything with them. And Kaguya just states before she disappears fully and listens to her son and allow her essence to disappear, but leave the power with Hinata. She states that there's another more powerful than me, much more powerful than me, and despite how strong you are, Naruto Uzumaki, you're not as strong as he is if he uses full power. Naruto goes, "Who's he?" She goes, "His name was Ishiki Otsutsuki, and he's pretty much the highest ranking Otsutsuki around at this present time." Kaguya goes, "It's faint, but I can feel it. Almost like a smell." She looks at Naruto. "My time is up in this world." And she walks over to Hagoromo Hamura. Naruto's scared because she's going to get a touch of his face, And she goes, my sons, she'll love them forever, but she'll heed them this time. Instead of fighting them, she'll listen to them and give in willingly." So as she touches their face for the last time, her essence disappears, and the full Karma Seal, she's not the activation, but the ability to activate some of the Karma, it becomes Hinata's in a sense. Not fully, but yeah, still passive, Hagoromo and Hamura look at it, but what goes down is they too disappear. Hamura gives his chakra to Hinata to destroy the Tenseigon bomb, and so they get ready to prepare themselves. Shikamaru and Sakura wake up like, what just happened? But they'll never understand. But as it's going down, back on Earth is getting huge meteors smashing down from the moon. And so as this goes down, Kakashi is super OP. He either can use his Susanoo to do Kamui shurikens, or just Kamui away massive boulders. And not only that, he has Itachi with his Susanoo, Sasuke with his Susanoo, or Jupaku Tensei, or whatever he wants to do. the broken leaf and the broken cloud, all of them, the Raikage can just pretty much jump between boulders and smash them with his lariat. Due to the fact that he is Sage Mode, he has like curse mark that amplifies him and gives him healing. Killer B and his power, like yeah, everyone around the world has got it to head in sand. All of them destroying everything, saving their village. Gaara protecting them. The old man, he can use his particle style to the point where he doesn't hurt his back, so he's a good protection for his village. And so the world in itself is in a much more prepared state. And when it comes right down to it, when the Raikage uses Chakra Diffusion Cannon, it works perfectly, destroying all the other meteors, giving villagers time to recuperate their energy and regroup and understand what they need to do if more keeps coming down. And so what happens is the Earth is way more prepared, way more stronger, way more keen to not be into a bad conflict and help each other out. And this plays a big part. And so as Toneri is in his mansion, Naruto and them are gone for a while actually, before they get to the part where they can enter into the dome, but it's already too late. But as Naruto goes, Toneri already has Hinata and he puts one of the orbs in her chest, but he has the Tenseigon. Naruto looks at him, and as Naruto jumps up, he does a Silver Run reverse explosion, pushes Naruto into space, and he teleports himself inside the castle. And so from there, he pretty much brainwashes Hinata and pretty much makes him marry her. Naruto gets up, he floats back in, he rockets back in into the moon. Naruto activates the 6-path KCM cloak, and he destroys the barrier immediately. And destroying the barrier, Naruto goes right there and hits through the castle and lands on the ground. When Toneri sees this, he's taken aback with just the scope of Naruto's power. He thought by him having the Tenseigon and utilizing some of the curse mark chakra jutsu that he stole from Hinabi, he thought he'd get it stronger than Naruto. No. Naruto appears and goes, "Give me back Hinata now." And he goes, "Is that right, Naruto?" Naruto appears. Toneri and Naruto begin to have a taijutsu battle right through the castle, and it's pretty. From the outside perspective, it looks evenly matched, but we all know when it comes to this, Naruto is stupidly overpowered. Naruto instantly grabs Toneri, throws him, kicks him in the face. Toneri lands, gets up, and he activates his Tenseigon chakra cloak. And as they begin to battle right across the moon, it's really easy for Naruto. Naruto looks at Toneri and he finds him slow, weaker, and just inferior. Naruto battles him through the moon, punches him out to the outside, and smashes him around. Toneri tries to use his giant sword to cut Naruto, while Naruto just absorbs the chakra and punches Toneri in the face, pretty similar to Canon, sending him flying so hard that Naruto craters him. But Toneri doesn't lose his Tenseigon. He summons his monster. Naruto appears and just destroys it immediately, using wood style on the moon, wrapping up the entire golem. The golem tries to move, but yeah, no, Naruto has it already sussed. Toneri tries to do his attack one more time at Naruto, but Naruto flies straight into the attack head first. And this with Toneri uses his orb within Hinata and pulls her over. And as Naruto throws a punch, Hinata is about to take the punch, but Naruto opens the portal right in front of Toneri instantly. And as Naruto opens a portal behind Toneri opens. And as Naruto goes through and throws the punch through the portal, he punches the back of the head of Toneri. And he goes forward, Naruto grabs Hinata. Naruto makes a clone and gets the clone to run away with Hinata. While Naruto rushes in and he begins to decimate Toneri fully to the point where Naruto doesn't hold back. He puts chakra in his hand and he smacks Toneri so hard that it's like a 1,000-time mighty push. Toneri hits the wall and loses the Tenseigon immediately. And so from there, what goes down is Hinata still takes Hanabi's eyes. Everything still goes relative to that, even when he activates the Tenseigon. Because Hinata hasn't destroyed it, the Tenseigon bomb still exists, so he pulls the whole entire Tenseigon out and he makes it shoot at Naruto, but Naruto just stops the attack, nullifying it. And Naruto goes, "Hinata, you got this, right?" She says, "Right, Naruto." She activates the Twin Lion main jutsu, or the ones that she has in her hand, so she jumps in and then she does a gentle fist, and at first it does nothing. But then she activates a curse mark. She jumps up and does the same thing, destroys it immediately, and has all the hundreds of Byakugas come out. But this is where Toneri takes it, and he absorbs too much and is about to blow up, but Naruto rips him out, saves him and heals him. Naruto talks to him and finds out Toneri's situation properly. Find out that they were the side branch family that really rebelled against the main line, and they won in a sense. And so Toneri has a lot of regret. Naruto goes, do you know the entrance towards the moon, has a permanent or can you close it? And he goes, I can't close it if you want me to permanently. And he goes, I think we should leave it open. And he goes, oh, and he goes, yeah, I think we should because we've got Hugo on the earth and people might want to, come to the moon. Now Toneri goes, well, there's no point. Bear in mind, Naruto just saved him after he tried to destroy the world. Naruto's already stopped the moon, but Toneri is trying to justify Naruto so he can die, because he's a failure. But Naruto states the moon needs an Otsutsuki and someone needs to guard this. And he goes, guards what? Naruto goes, this is what I wanted to talk to you about before you went all lost it. Naruto opens the scroll and he touches the scroll with his foot. A massive ceiling urn comes out and he goes, this is where the Ten Tails has been held. Well, the Geto statue anyway. And he shocks Toneri, he's like, and he goes, yep, here you go. Knocked it up. No one's, even if someone wants to summon it, unless they have my Rinnegan, they're not going to summon it. Well, unless they give the permission to summon it, or you have permission to let anyone else summon it, their urn's not going nowhere. And what goes down is Toneri smiles. He thanks Naruto, he apologizes for how stupid he was. He really did. Naruto tells him that he should at least use one of those Byakugan eyes at least, because he'd rather look at someone that talked to him. Pretty knob-nosed Toneri, but they understand. Hinata full on rejects Toneri and she leaves. But what goes down is the Hidden Leaf and the Hidden Moon Village, they become the mainstay. Humans from all over the world go to the Hidden Moon Village on the moon. And so that's pretty much the situation with Toneri and the Otsutsuki on the moon. But what goes down is, as Naruto's flying back with Hinata, he confesses that he loves her. He does have love for her, but he's just confused about Guardian, Hinata at first was unhappy to hear that, but she realized also that it's not uncommon. But if Naruto chooses Guardian, then he will accept it. And so, long story from the Naruto the last of the Boruto series, Naruto becomes a very powerful ninja. Everyone becomes a very powerful shinobi force. Naruto ends up getting with Hinata, not Guardian, unfortunately, for Guardian. And they make a way more powerful Boruto and way more powerful Himawari. But what goes down is Naruto himself without the tail beast is more powerful than all now. He himself has become so much more powerful. He utilized all his chakra abilities to amp his base, getting strong. He's Rinnegan's abilities off the scales. So Sasuke, he's known to be feared. Sasuke can take a Kaguya level 3 on by himself and waste her. And this is the big difference. They've been training non-stop, Naruto and Sasuke. So when Naruto gets to the point when he becomes Hokage in the beginning of the Boruto series, this is what allows for Naruto to be as powerful as he is. And so by the time Boruto is in the academy and the Boruto series starts, Naruto is the, the 6th Hokage, not 7th. He's the 6th Hokage. Because Kakashi passed it to him. Kakashi was going to make Itachi the Hokage, but what goes down is Itachi liked being the Shadow Hokage like Sasuke, and so he agreed to make Naruto the 6th Hokage. And so with Naruto being the 6th Hokage, he also changed things. Having the Rinnegan, Naruto can see through all the clones, so he doesn't need to disperse a Shadow clone not to see it. And because Naruto's in always 6-path Sage mode, he can pretty much help the entire village. But the village is not so much slacking. All the world himself is super cooperative. Makes it harder for Kara to establish any bases because Orochimaru is still in the dark. He still understands all the dark world and so he has his fingers in it, but for the leaf of course. And so as Boruto goes through the series, he's a genius by all accounts. He puts Minato and Naruto to shame when it comes to just skill and Itachi. This Boruto is so powerful with his abilities. He's able to utilize Shuriken. He can do what Itachi does without a Sharingan. And Itachi is his hero, and Sasuke and Itachi are his heroes to him. So he aspires to be more like them. Because he has Naruto's DNA and Hinata's DNA, Boruto has so much potential, either activating the Byakugan or awakening the Rinnegan. Bear in mind, Naruto awoken the Rinnegan, not the Sharingan, not the Mangekyo, not the Eternal Mangekyo. When Naruto awoken the Rinnegan, he awoken the Rinnegan. And so, Boruto has such great potential. By this point, the world has fully connected with the curse mark. It's called Orochimaru's pretty much healing mark. It's the best thing that ever happened. Amado even uses that in his experiments, and he's modified them in a way that makes things super broken. And not only that, thanks to Naruto and Onko, Orochimaru has fully now achieved his true immortality, which makes him even better and happy. And so Orochimaru in himself is just, yeah, he's the man. And he becomes one of the main academy teachers, if not the principal of the academy. And so there's a massive expectation that coming. And so with Boruto, he loves Sasuke and he really likes Orochimaru. Boruto meets Orochimaru's son, Mitsuki, and they meet each other, and Naruto goes, "What can you do?" Boruto goes, "What can you do?" And he goes, "Well, if you like Boruto, I mean, you can have a sparring match." And Naruto goes, "Alright then." Boruto does. And so as they're in the academy reading the spar, this is where Konohamaru goes, "If you guys are going to spar, don't go too all out. There's other people here now." And Boruto goes, "It's alright, big bro. I know that Mitsuki will be really strong. He is the son of Orochimaru after all." And so as Boruto begins to flex and readies himself, what happens is Mitsuki goes, "So off the back then, you're not going to hold back?" Boruto smiles, looks at him, opens his eyes, he disappears, appears right by Mitsuki. Bear in mind, this kid Boruto is faster than Minato, okay? So, yeah, this I'm going to tell you right now, Boruto is broken as a kid. If his dad's beyond a god, yeah. But anyway, Boruto appears behind Mitsuki and they begin to fight. And it's clear, it's one-sided. Mitsuki can't even get a hit. Even when he uses jutsu, Boruto just nullifies it using like reflective jutsus. Mitsuki does lightning style, yellow lightning snake jutsu. And Boruto just does like a wind style wind shield and instantly destroys it. Boruto's smart. He knows how to nullify jutsus by using the opposites or doing the same, if not more powerful. Because he has Naruto's godlike chakra reserves, yeah, he can do this all day. And so they battle out back into taijutsu to the point where they get pushed back. Rock Lee's watching from afar. He finds this really cool watching these kids spar. Kind of reminds him of Sasuke. But what happens is as Boruto is fighting Mitsuki jumps back and he goes, should we actually take it up or not? And Boruto goes, "Alright then." Mitsuki goes into his Snake Sage mode, which takes Boruto by surprise. Even Rock Lee, because they didn't expect that his Sage mode would be so different. And Boruto goes, yada yada, alright then. If you're gonna go like that, okay. He opens his eyes. But when Boruto opens his eyes, he has, what's it called? The Sage mode activates that he has his own form of Sage mode. And now it's not the actual Sage mode, it's the curse mark that Orochimaru has pretty much embedded in every Konoha villager. And doing so, he's able to match Mitsuki's perfect Sage mode. And bear in mind, this is Boruto just fighting him, you know. Mitsuki's powerful as hell. Boruto not only matches him, overpowers him, trips him, and beats him. But he's not a cocky kid. He understands that he understands that his dad is just a god. And he's a little bit afraid upon the power that he may receive. He doesn't know if he can keep up to it because he has a cool uncle like Neji that teaches him how to do the gentle fist properly. He has a cool uncle like Sasuke that has been training him. Sasuke is his main sensei. And Itachi is like, So everyone is so different, so much more powerful. And so what goes down after their fight, Naruto finds out that Boruto and Mitsuki had a unique one-on-one, and even Orochimaru did. And he liked it, and so Team 7 and them get put into their categories and they go on to their Genin missions. Now all the Genin still meet up and they're all friends, but this is when they challenge Kakashi. Now this Kakashi is god tier Kakashi, like this is a 6-pass Kakashi. Not a weak Kakashi like the canon. And so they know that Lord 5th is powerful as hell. The only Hokage that was more powerful than him was Naruto. And I say that I don't say that lightly because he has both Obito's abilities with his own and he can use them, span them because he's got 6-path powers still thanks to Naruto. So with Kakashi being there, he's the one that takes them for their test. It's Kakashi, Onko, Itachi, and Konohamaru that are going to be a part of the Jonin test, or the beginning test. Because these Genin are monsters, yeah. And so all of them understand. They briefly talk to each other and break apart. Team 7 by Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki, they run off. the Ino Sheik Choji team go, or Chocho team go as well. What's it called? It's all the other teams rush off, but the main ones, you know, the main ones that we see Iwabi in them, they head out. But what goes down is they manage to take out Konohamaru pretty easy. Despite him being buffed up by the Kurosumaki and everything, he managed to get taken down easily, especially by Boruto and Sarada. And Anko gets pretty beat. It's Itachi, that's the wall. Because he has the Kurosumaki and the Eternal Mangekyo, he's an instant wall, you know? And so he's battling properly. The girl with the ability to produce that sound cannon fights Itachi, and she reduces her attack where Itachi uses the Yadamera to deflect it, throwing all of them off. And so the only way they can beat him is by being smart, and Itachi's smart as well. And so he starts to use his genjutsu on people, taking them down, you know, all the students. But luckily Boruto is smart as well. He weaves a aerial hand sign and slams the ground, putting a seal to release everyone from his genjutsu. Itachi looks at Boruto and goes, "It's you." Sarada appears and instantly weaves hand signs, activates his Sharingan, and shoots a massive fire-style fireball jutsu, slowing Itachi down. Mitsuki goes behind him, wrapping the snake, trying to pull he's in Sage mode, wrapping the snake around Itachi's Susanoo arm and pulls him down. And Boruto rushes in immediately, activates his ability, his Kurosumaki on himself. And as Boruto rushes in, he jumps at Itachi, activating the Rinnegan. Itachi's quite impressed, but Boruto's like, "Hey, you're going to be more impressed." Boruto instantly compresses it, rotates it immediately, and as it hits Itachi's Susanoo, it cracks it. And then Boruto releases it and does a massive vortex, pushing Itachi's Susanoo right back, giving them enough space to run past Itachi. Itachi flips by and he smiles and he goes, "Those three." He smiles at them. They pass. Well, the kids get past Itachi. That doesn't continue. He puts his hand in his robe. He goes, All the three journeys before, all are now watching as all of them move forward to Kakashi. They know Kakashi is the wall. And so as they're sitting there, Itachi's like, "Good luck, all of you." And as they land, Kakashi's standing in the middle of the forest, around these big trees, sitting down and goes, "Took you all long enough. What kicked you?" Boom! Boruto comes out of the ground, tries to grab the bells, but Kakashi doesn't move, and Boruto goes right through Kakashi. He's like, "What the?" He goes to throw a kick, but Kakashi doesn't move. Kakashi grabs the book and goes, just like father and son. He starts to read the book, and Kakashi goes, wait, closes the book. As Boruto moves, Kakashi slaps Boruto in the head with the book, and he goes, "There we go." Boruto goes, and Kakashi disappears again. And this is when all the other teams rush in and try to fight at Kakashi and try to get at him. Each and every one of them just throwing moves at him, you know, not coordinating. And Kakashi dismantles each and every one of them, even with his Sharingan abilities, placing them all under certain genjutsus, because Kakashi can do so. He turns around, placing them on the genjutsu, except for Boruto, because Boruto managed to hide away. Sarada also. And as Kakashi's like, "Where are you?" Boom, the ground, a seal appears around the ground, releasing everyone from the genjutsu. Boruto even put out like a passive message in the seal to tell everyone to leave. And so as everyone gets released, Kakashi jumps up, everyone scatters. And Kakashi goes, that was interesting. And as Kakashi jumps up, Sarada speed blitzes down, tries to do her own form of Jidori, but Kakashi goes, "Nice try." Sarada goes right through Kakashi, she hits the ground, and as she hits the ground, she looks up, and Kakashi goes, "Watch out," boom. And Sarada jumps back, uses a 5-star fireball jutsu to create some distance. But Kakashi goes, "When are these kids ever going to learn?" The 5-star goes right through him. He smiles. And what happens is, as Kakashi is about to attack Sarada, what happens is a snake wraps around Kakashi just briefly, shocking him a little bit. Kakashi goes, "Nice, you caught my intervals, I see, son of Orochimaru." And Mitsuki smiles and smiles at the compliment he's getting from the fifth Hokage. But what happens is Kakashi instantly walks through, he grabs Mitsuki's arm and goes, "Let me show you. Lightning style, purple lightning." Boom, purple lightning goes through Mitsuki's body. Mitsuki is stunned and he falls to the ground, but it's only substitution. And Kakashi's like, very wise. He likes this team. Sarada's gone, everyone's scattered. And this is when they all come together, and this is when Boruto makes a plan. He goes, we need to utilize our abilities together. And so they all work together to figure out certain things. They're the sensory type. They're the girl that can use her voice as a cannon. And there's the Ino Shika team, there's Iwabi and their team, and Boruto and this team. And as they all come together to work as a team to figure out to be Kakashi, Kakashi comes to the Kamui portal and goes, found you. They're like, whoa! Boruto jumps back, and as he jumps back, his eyes turn a different color, briefly. But both of his eyes do, not just one of them. Both of his eyes go in and out briefly. And Kakashi's the only one who catches onto it, and he's caught off guard. This is when Sarada runs up and throws a punch, which Kakashi catches. And then Mitsuki comes behind him and he does inorganic snake transformation to try to catch Kakashi with little snakes. But Kakashi's like he's dazed out. He's looking right at Boruto and he's like, what the hell was that? And then the snakes go right through Kakashi, accidentally pushing Sarada out of the way. And what happens is Boruto rushes, catches Sarada, and Kakashi jumps back, hides between the trees, and he's unsure what he just saw. He knows he saw something. But what the hell was it? Boruto doesn't understand what is going on. And so as they're all lining up to fight, get ready, Kakashi goes, did you think you guys had time to make a plan? Do you guys forget who I am? And Boruto goes, do you guys understand? They all go, yes, they understand. And so for instance, Kakashi comes out, Boruto makes 4 shadow clones, they rush Kakashi, and they use their extreme speed to fight Kakashi, and Kakashi's impressed. Even Sarada comes in using her speed and strength. Mitsuki does too, because Team 7 is technically the strongest team. All the other teams know that. And so they put everything they have in distracting Kakashi. Full Sage Mode, Mitsuki, Curse Mark 2, Sharingan Sarada, and Curse Mark Boruto. And so as they're fighting, what goes down, Kakashi is impressed and looks at Boruto as he's fighting and goes, Boruto, did you see what happened? And Boruto, he's just caught off guard by this. Because he had a moment where he saw something but not. And Boruto doesn't understand. But as this goes down, Boruto goes, I don't need to worry, Kakashi. Kakashi Sensei goes, what's that? Boom! Boruto grabs Kakashi's arm, Mitsuki grabs Kakashi's arm, Sarada, jumps behind her, wraps him up, and so she goes, if you become intangible, these will be going with you, and they'll blow up on you. And Kakashi goes, you kids think and believe you deduced my ability. The only people that actually truly have deduced this ability was Naruto, Sasuke, Conan, all of them. Not yous. And what happens is Kakashi moves through and Sarada's like, what? Boom! They blow up right in front of Sarada. And Kakashi goes, what makes you think this is going to hold me? But this is exactly the distraction they need. Sarada goes, you were too busy looking at what we were talking about, not looking at what's around you. And Kakashi goes, Boom! That little girl screams right at Kakashi, blowing him away. He may be intangible to things, but he's still going to get hit by the force. And he gets sent to flying. And then what happens is, Shikurai uses his ability to trap Kakashi, while Inojin uses his mind transfer jutsu, and Chocho punches her fists right into Kakashi. The whole 3 teams try to do their best, while everyone else gets a team. Awabi does his massive earth style, and it holds him in place while all the teams come together. And this is where Boruto goes, no! They go, ninja! He goes, I'm light barrier formation. There's a light barrier forms around Kakashi, locking him in place. Sorry. Boruto weaves hand signs, and as he does so, he puts his hands together and locks Kakashi, and this is when Boruto's Jogon activate fully. They don't just activate briefly. Boruto's eyes change to the Jogon, and he sees, everyone's chakra points and everything. Kakashi's like, Boruto. Bear in mind, this is in both his eyes. Now, I don't know what the Jogon can actually do. I've seen them anime, and so far they can do dimensional travels. They can see negative or any form of corrupted chakra, and it can see chakra pathways like the Byakugan. So I'm just going to say that that's what they do for now, but we'll see how things go. But anyway, with Boruto activating the Jogon, he can see Kakashi's chakra pathways, and he can see when Kakashi is intangible or not. And this makes it easy for Boruto. Not only that, he can see when Kakashi uses Kamui, like he's about to do now. Kakashi activates Kamui, and Boruto unintentionally jumps through the same Kamui dimension, where they both end up in Kakashi's mind. Kakashi doesn't know how Boruto got in there, but it gives him time to talk. Boruto is scared and upset, but Kakashi goes, welcome to the Kamui dimension. This is where my good friend came to get away, Solace. The person that burdened me with the eye and his will of fire. So no, he's not a burden in my mind now. Kakashi looks down. He goes, but you, Boruto, you must be very special if you're able to access this dimension. And Boruto goes, I don't know. So he goes, you haven't seen it still, have you? And he goes, see why? He goes, your eyes have changed color. They're another form of dojutsu. And he goes, just judging by it, they look like different type of Byakugans. What else can you feel? And while they're in this dimension, no one knows what's happening. They're gone, back in the world, and they're pretty much having a talking situation. Where Kakashi goes, how I teleport is by I focus my ability and I focus where I need to be, and then I jump through. I just say calmly because it's a connection to the ability and my mind will react to it. And Boruto goes, oh, like the Flying Thunder God or Rinnegan. And he goes, yes, exactly. And Chidori, and he goes, yes, Boruto. And he goes, well, okay, Kakashi-sensei, let's give this a go. Boruto activates Jogon, and right away as he does so, he opens a portal and he jumps right through immediately. Lands back by his team. And Kakashi does the same. They're all scared and nervous that Kakashi's gonna beat them up or beat them down. But he goes, well done, all of you. They're like, eh? And they're like, you all have passed the test. The goal of this test is teamwork. Not about how strong you are, not about what you can individually do, but what you guys can do as a team. You guys deduced that Team 7 was the strongest. You guys deduced that when it comes to a ranged attack, you need to use a specialized one. You guys deduced that a situation where it will throw me off guard where my shadow was held in place. And then you guys held me in a position where I couldn't move without using my special abilities. Now outside of that, you guys are fine shinobi. I'm a rare breed, unfortunately for you. And Boruto kind of smiles. And so what goes down is they all pass. Metal Lee's happy, he wants to go tell his dad, you know. Bear in mind, Metal Lee is still, Rock Lee's son. However, Metal Lee is also Kaden's son. So, Metal Lee can't use chakra like Naruto can, but what's cool about it is he has massive healing potential and his body is super strong like his mother. Bear in mind, she also has part of her that was an Otsutsuki reincarnation that disappeared after Kaguya died and gave the karma up to Hinata. So Kaden no longer has it, but she's boosted by that Otsutsuki connection. So Metal Lee is someone else that also needs to be watched. Now what goes down is everyone moves forward as a whole. Everyone moves forward and their journeys go roughly the same. It's not until Toneri explains to Naruto that Boruto has special eyes, special abilities that will allow him to see what others got. At first Naruto wasn't happy that Toneri did that to Boruto. But because of Boruto's chakra and connection to the Otsutsuki DNA that he has, the Jogon attached to the point where both eyes became Jogon. And this surprised Toneri because he states that, in this world anyway, that much like the Tenseigon, the Jogons will evolve to the point where he can activate abilities much like similar to what he had, if not much stronger. And because he's your son, there's a slight chance he could possibly activate the Rinnegan. And Naruto looks and goes, he sees and he understands why Toneri helped out. He thanks Toneri, guardian of the moon, the moon Kage, the moon Hokage. Yeah, the lunar Kage. That's a good one, lunar Kage. But what goes down from there is everyone gets ready, everyone understands, but this is what Toneri explains to Naruto also that he's been sealing cracks in space-time dimensions, preventing the Otsutsukis that Kaguya warned. Naruto goes, so there's finally time for them, they're going to show up soon. He goes, yeah, he goes, how long do you think you can hold them off for, Toneri? Toneri goes, I could probably hold them off for another week or so. And Naruto goes, okay, because the Chunin exams are about to begin soon. And so they could possibly arrive while we're in the Chunin exams. Naruto contacts all the other tail beasts and tells them all the ones that are free to go to their hidden locations. Naruto warns Killer Bee and any Jinchuriki that do exist to use the protective seal to hide their presence. Every tail beast listens to Naruto. Not because Naruto dominates them, because he asks them. And so with that, Naruto prepares the world. Everyone goes into a position where they have to protect themselves in any village. They are on high alert, but not against each other, against everyone else. All the lands, borders, the feudal lords and all them stuff, at first they were against the Shinobi Alliance and all play a role in the future soon, you'll see. But what goes down is, as everyone prepares, a week transpires, goes down, the Raikage arrives, the Mitsukage arrives, the Tsuchikage arrives, the Kazekage arrive. Everyone arrives to the Hidden Leaf for the Chunin exams. By this time, Boruto has learned how to activate the Jogon at will, and thanks to his teachings of fighting from his awesome Uncle Neji, what happens is Boruto is the man at Gentle Fist, and now that he has the Jogon, he can utilize it like a Hyuga, the Gentle Fist, at his fighting style with the Hyuga fighting style. And this makes Boruto even more brokenly powerful. With his extreme speed too, he'll destroy his uncle. and his teleportation and the ability to perceive illusions or things around him, Boruto is really, 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 really different. And so as the Chunin exam begins, Team 7 fly right through. They fly right through the main Chunin exams. Pretty much nearly every group goes relative. Team 7, the Hidden Sand Village, their team goes through. And a relative goes to the same. The ending people that are going to be fighting is Sarada, Boruto, and Minsky. Sarada, Boruto, and Shinken. Gaara's son. I'm going to say that he is actually Gaara's son. I'm an adopted child. But what goes down as they battle, Sarada is way more powerful and way more prepared. But so is Shinken. He has a question mark as well. They're all stronger as well. So it works out more in their favour. And so as Sarada has a Sharingan, Boruto activates the Sharingan himself, and they battle as well. And they take a lot to bear in mind. The Shinochia situation has not happened yet. I moved that to a certain time place to work out for another storyline. You'll see. But what goes down is as Boruto and Sarada take it out, Shinken, it's actually harder for him to take them on. Boruto is lightning fast, and so is Sarada. And they're running through him. Boruto is just obliterating Shinken's Iron Sand with his lightning and his lightning Rinnegan and all that stuff. Sarada the same, to the point where they both come together. They jump back. Shinken tries to do a giant hand to punch them both on each side, but Sarada jumps in using her full power, does the Jodori, destroying the hand, and she instantly uses her mum's super strength to punch Shinken in the face. He hits the ground. Boruto compresses the Rinnegan in his hand. He jumps through, destroys Shinken's fist, and as he gets to the ground, he activates the compressed Rinnegan by expands it. And he does Rinnegan explode. Boom! There's a massive Rinnegan explosion, knocking out Shinken immediately. And so the final exam is going to be between Sarada and Boruto. Sasuke looks at Naruto and he goes, "Good luck, eh?" And Sakura's like, "Yeah. Give it hell, Sarada. Don't hold back because Boruto's your boyfriend." And this instantly throws them all off. Everyone cracks up laughing. Sarada and Boruto look at each other like awkward as hell. And Sarada goes, "Regardless if he is, I'm gonna beat him no matter what. For you, Uncle Itachi." And Sakura's like, "What? But what about me?" And Sarada goes, "I love you, Mom, but Uncle Itachi, he's a pretty good person." Sasuke's like, "But what about me?" Itachi's like, "Come on, guys. Don't worry about her. You got this. Even you, Boruto, give it hell." Boruto's nervous as he goes, "Sarada just said that I'm her boyfriend." If all the Guinea are like, "Hey, Sarada just claimed Boruto." Chocho's like, "Hey, that's not fair." But it's already too late. Boruto's like, Hinata's like, Boruto. They all kind of giggle at it. And so Naruto, he finds it quite a crack up. And Naruto goes, "You two, don't hold anything back. Give it your all." Sarada looks at Naruto, knowing that Naruto is his goal. Naruto is the goal for her to become the Hokage. Boruto wants to become the Shadow Hokage, the one that protects all the villages from the shadows, as Naruto protects all the villages from the front. And so Boruto stands and he goes, "I'm not going to hold back at all, Sarada." He grabs his katana, much like Sasuke's, and he holds it, and what happens with Boruto streams blue lightning through it. When Sasuke sees this, it blows his mind. Boruto stands there and he goes, "I'm ready, you?" Sarada grabs the kunai, amplifies stuff, she goes, "I'm ready." And as Boruto activates the Jogan and Sarada activates the her Sharingan, 3-time Sharingan, as they're about to begin, Naruto hears from Toneri that they got through, and that they attacked them now. Naruto stops, and he goes, "Stop." Naruto looks at Sasuke. Naruto looks at all the Kage immediately get up. And they all go to the areas around the arena, and this is when Kinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki come. When they all appear, they're like, looks like we got some welcome wagon, Kinshiki. Naruto walks forward, and this is when, what's it called? This is when Momoshiki looks at Naruto and he goes, "You hidden all those chakras well there." And what happens is Urashiki explains everything about Naruto, who he is. And as he's looking at Naruto, he looks right at Hinata and sees Kaguya's chakra mark on her. And it blows his mind. He goes, "That Kaguya, she learned how to survive after all. Good girl. Now I have a worthy sacrifice. After I absorb these lower life forms, I will take your life, Hinata, and add it to my own." And what happens is Naruto's like, "Yo, Momoshiki Otsutsuki, Do you really think you stand a chance with me? And what happens? Kishiki goes, you dare! Comes down with his weapon and goes to attack Naruto. But what ends up going down is Sasuke's already there and he destroys the sword. Kakashi appears out of Kamui. Kinshiki's like, what the? Urashiki tries to react and attack Kakashi, but Kakashi goes intangible. Urashiki's like, what the? Boom! Kakashi puts a Jidori right on Urashiki's shoulder. And then Kakashi goes, he goes, feel some more! Lightning style, purple lightning! Boom! Purple lightning goes through Urashiki and Kakashi chucks him away. Kinshiki comes back to try to attack Kakashi, but Kakashi becomes intangible. Sasuke appears and kicks Kinshiki straight in the face right out of the arena. Momoshiki's like, what the? Naruto just walks up to him slowly, takes off a button around his cape, and he goes, I would give you guys a warning to leave, but I know you guys are an invasive alien species that never give up. So, I will not either. Naruto activates KCM, 6-power KCM. The true Seeking orbs appear right around him. Naruto's power dramatically increases, which scares Momoshiki. He's looking at Naruto. This is the first time Boruto and any of the kids have seen Naruto's true power. Sasuke lands by Naruto, activating his Susanoo chakra around Naruto. And so does Kakashi. Kakashi walks over, activating his Susanoo chakra. Bear in mind, Sasuke and Kakashi both have 6-path powers. Sasuke has Rinnegan and his 6-path connection to Hagoromo. And thanks to Naruto unlocking in Obito's chakra, his Obito's 6-path chakra with the Kakashi, it's permanent with him. And so when he has a child, it'll be with them and then blah blah blah. And so when Kakashi activates his perfect Susanoo, Sasuke does the same. Chakra, like both their chakras are like amping. That is, as Momoshiki sees this, Momoshiki activates as much as the attacks can, chucks it at Naruto, but Naruto absorbs them all. All the villagers are removed. The Kage already put a Crimson Ray formation barrier around them to protect them, but all of them are away. Urashiki gets up and he heals from the injury that Sasuke gave him. Kinshiki also got out of the attack that he was being sealed on. And so as they're standing there, they're at a loss. Momoshiki goes, no, I am not at a loss. He uses both his hands and he absorbs both Kinshiki and Urashiki into 2 chakra fruits, eats them both. And in doing so, what happens, he explodes into a different form of Otsutsuki. But what goes down is Kakashi goes, not here, Kamui! He uses Kamui and forces Momoshiki out of that dimension. Naruto tries to contact Toneri. What happens is Toneri doesn't get back to Naruto. Naruto opens a portal and he hits the Toneri's chakra and he sees that he's sealed. Naruto places his hand on Toneri's seal and releases it. Toneri thanks Naruto. Naruto goes, I'm gonna go, just in case. The world's in your hands, I'll get back. Toneri goes, he understands. Naruto opens a portal and he goes to Kakashi and Kakashi opens the Kamui dimension. But what happened is Boruto saw this and he jumped through as well. So Sasuke, Kakashi, Naruto and Boruto jumped through the Kamui dimension. But when they got there, Momoshiki jumps out and so they teleport through the dimension again. Boruto doing the same thing again. He appears and he's with them. They're at the giant tree where Naruto is meant to be sacrificed. When Naruto gets there, he sees Killer Beast strung up and all the other tail beasts strung up. Momoshiki goes, we were smart, we knew this was going to happen. Urashiki saw everything and told us about you, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto's shocked. We've been planning this for a while. And as he does so, Momoshiki starts to absorb some chakra from the chakra tree. But this is when Naruto chucks a massive Rasen Shuriken, cutting the tree in half. Momoshiki's like, what the? Naruto does a divine Sage Art Almighty push, blowing Momoshiki away. And Naruto uses his wood style to rip all the tail beasts out of the tree. Killer Bee falls to the ground. He turns back into the Killer Bee and says, you, Naruto. Everyone's shocked. Everyone's fully shocked. Momoshiki's like, looking at Naruto like, you damn inferior creature. Naruto goes, the only one that's inferior is you. You came to the wrong place. Naruto begins to fight Momoshiki easily overpowering him. Sasuke comes in and does the same. They're destroying him. They ready to take out both Momoshiki's eye projections, absorption and deflection. But thanks to the eye on his head, he's able to do the attacks without his hand eyes. And what happens is, thanks to absorbing Urashiki as well, his body heals quicker, so those eyes on his hands eventually heal. So he's a more broken version. But doesn't mean he's invincible. They push him back to the point where he gets angry and starts to chuck thousands of these giant kind of stone kind of dough faces out of the ground, kind of wood style things to attack. And Naruto and Sasuke and Kakashi easily able to dismantle it until Kakashi jumps in and he goes, lightning style! Come reach Chidori! Rushes into what's it called? Momoshiki and hits him, cuts off Momoshiki's arm, and teleports it away. Momoshiki's like, ugh, what the? Sasuke comes in. Sasuke goes, 6 power, Sage Art. His lightning goes from black to white, black and white lightning, and he goes, Chidori, boom, cuts through Momoshiki's other arm. And Momoshiki's like, ah. Naruto's like, 6 pass. Jumps in, and then Sasuke and Kakashi get out of the way. Naruto does a massive Rasen. He goes, Chibaku Tensei, Rasen Shuriken. Chucks it right at Momoshiki, hits Momoshiki's gut, and throws him in the air, and it starts to rip him apart. But it also pulls in rocks, starting to collapse on Momoshiki. As Momoshiki's getting crushed in, he uses the last and remaining part of his ability to absorb the Rasen Shuriken, regrow his arms back, and explode the area, but he was badly hurt. And he's about to die. He summons his gigantic stone golem to fight, but nothing. And as Naruto and Sasuke and Kakashi easily overpower him, Momoshiki knows he's going to die. And so just before he dies, he looks at Boruto and sees it. Boruto's Jogolem's activating. He goes, yeah, jumps at Boruto and through a portal, grabs Boruto and puts all his chakra and puts a karma seal on Boruto. And he goes, my future is assured. He gets pulled back by Naruto, and in doing so, Naruto goes, it's time for you to die. Momoshiki goes, no, it's not you, inferior. Sasuke and Kakashi pull Momoshiki's arm, and Naruto goes, time for you to die. He kills Momoshiki by ripping his soul out entirely, fully ripping his soul out, and Sasuke and Kakashi destroy Momoshiki's body. Sasuke does the Amaterasu, and Kakashi just pretty much holds it there. As Naruto absorbs Momoshiki's memories, he knows everything about certain characters, certain people, and what he did to Boruto. Naruto looks at him and he goes, Boruto is now a permanent vessel for Momoshiki Otsutsuki. And they all look at Naruto. And so as everyone teleports back home, they're all on the Hokage's tower, everyone's waiting, the Kages, everything like that. Boruto, all of them look at each other and they understand what's going to happen. And so from there, that's all my end this one, guys. I hope you guys like this. Like and subscribe, leave a comment down below. And yeah, and if you guys like this, 100 likes, guys, I'll make another part, okay? So yeah, without further ado, guys, this is Dr. Kahu saying peace.